Sass here. In this video, I gonna comment on the chapter 3, which came out to be surprisingly small when compared to previous chapters. But before we look into how Seedling's encounter with Yo-Yo will develop, I'm going to, as always, start off with some small announcements. We have launched our own English Doll's Nest wiki. It's in a very early access kind of state, but we're going to gradually develop it into proper full shape. I decided to start from something that easily available to just quickly copy and paste. So for now, there's only an item descriptions, images and stats, including even some that are actually even not stated in the game itself. And even that is not really fully complete. It still lacks some of the rear arms and the entirety of frames, but as I said, it's gonna be done one day. Also, we got Byte on board, but how do I pronounce him? What the fuck? The author of the Bosses Rework mod, cooking us some gameplay guides, detailing game mechanics and how various weapons and frame stats work together. And we have our local nerd, Mechonis, putting some notes on how certain weapons operate in actual combat, comparing their effectiveness once so often. If you want to contribute and actually have an idea how to contribute, you're more than welcome at our Discord server, where all wiki coordination is taking place. With that covered, let us begin. So, the meeting between Yo-Yo and the Nameless One gets very tense right away. The Seedling have never encountered other nymphs so far, only constantly fighting for survival against armies of dangerous automatons, most likely getting brutally killed not just once. So her first reaction to Yo-Yo is pointing a Francisca shotgun right at the small entity. I think what saved Yo-Yo from getting her face blasted off is the frustration of the Nameless One from seeing someone so alike to her in appearance. And perhaps the fact that Yo-Yo lacks any weapons on her also quite helped to set the small bean as potentially not a threat. Yo-Yo, on the other hand, is totally scared to shits being held at gunpoint, bursting in tears and begging for her life. Yet, so tense in the mood, the scene abruptly ends in Yo-Yo's stomach growling from hunger, while the Seedling has some unpacked supplement bar right on the shoulder. Then the next page starts right from Yo-Yo munching that supplement, and I really like the way how the narration is handled here. No long dialogue, our Seedling is not the yapper Hattie is, so she just cuts to the chase. The small bean is hungry, and she has the means to fix it. And so the manga cuts straight to it as well. You don't need any unnecessary details. The situation has been conveyed simply and quickly just from the visuals and sound effect captions. If you're not dumb, you'll connect the dots yourself. I'm really loving this approach. But Nameless One is no caring parent, so just like your dad when he saw the pregnancy test, the Seedling speeds away, climbing walls in seconds to get out of Yo-Yo's sight back into combat. But she's not taking that shit. Just getting some company again, she's not going to lose it now right away. Being visually distressed just from the mere idea of being left alone again. She just climbs that damn wall like it's nothing, and despite being scared of combat and all that mess Seedling leaves behind, Yo-Yo is not refusing to follow. In the meantime, Nameless One shows how more skillful and combat proficient she has become, taking out numerous automatons in quick succession. Yet her calling seems to malfunction or something, so she just carelessly drops it, moving forward. But Yo-Yo, as the certified garbage princess of scavengers, just can't come by and leave a mostly intact weapon behind. Yet the Seedling is not willing to wait. Boarding a monorail to leave this section, she remains careless to Yo-Yo's shouts and pleas to wait. In an absolute relentless manner, the scrapper bean jumps, trying to make it to the leaving tram, praying with a new word she learned from the time spent with Hattie, yet it wasn't enough, and in the end of part 1, they make it seem like she's just about to fall into the abyss. A very fucking cheap cliffhanger, but in part 2, the seedling just effortlessly catches her cloak by just extending a gun. Yo-Yo gets what she desires. With nowhere to go from a monorail as it crosses a pit, Nameless One decides to finally talk, asking what Yo-Yo even wants, tailing so recklessly. First, she tells that I think she really was feeling that she's just too scared of being alone now, but then for some reason stutters and rushes to correct herself to some more grounded reason, making the kulim she picked up into the topic, that she wanted to bring it back to the owner. The seedling tells she dropped it intentionally as it's broken and thus useless. And after that, Yo-Yo just takes a look at the weapon. She thinks otherwise, that it still has its uses, addressing the weapon as if it was a child, proceeding to repair it. Getting thrown away like this is just too sad. I think it's quite clear that Yo-Yo draws a parallel here with herself. She was cast away as broken and useless, just like this plasma blade emitter.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
While making repairs, she tells about how she got here, and once getting the kulim fixed, thinks it's about time to get introduced to each other properly. And speaking about names just besods the seedling. She's a nameless one after all, and this practically gives her an existential crisis. Here we get to a neat part which, at the same time, I kind of hate, because our translator guys and I just didn't manage to adapt it properly. So we had to resort to just writing the transcriptions above, as without it as context, things get nonsensical. What happens here is that Yo-Yo takes what the seedling says literally, picking not the nameless part, but as if it was her name. Nanakino. Yes, this is the closest we get to having a proper canon name for our main character, at least for now, I think. That's some character development for the seedling. In the meantime, Yo-Yo thinks how they may be pretty much alike, and she somehow manages to guess that Nana seeks for her mother. But their nice cute chat gets interrupted by a bunch of noises. Nanakino quickly rushes away to investigate, preparing for combat, and yeah, here we are. Finally reaching to our first boss fight, the autonomous policing vehicle. But it will be only in the next chapter, the release date of which is for some reason still not stated. All I have for you now is Hattie sent flying by the vehicle as it slams through the wall. Why does she get herself into Looney Tunes situations all the time? Nevertheless, it seems that the manga now really heavily differs from the game. I think they will be following the general plot points for the characters, stories, and their side quests, if there will be present. I think they should be present. But besides that, like right here, they will be facing policing vehicle together with Hattie. Right here, right now. That's something what is not possible in the game. But being honest, I really wish we could do that. Like, I don't know about anyone, but I personally have thought multiple times that it would be really good to just like travel together with Hattie as like kind of NPC companion, or maybe even make it into a co-op mode. I don't know, there's plenty of possibilities of how it can be done, but sadly that's not what we're having in the game. But at least we'll be viewing this in manga perspective, how their story would unfold if they were moving together. Well, okay, that's it. There's nothing more. I can't squeeze any more bullshit to fill the text with pointless information, so